Thank you. I call to order this regular meeting of the Board of Public Works this Tuesday, March 28th of 2023. First up, we have messages from the board. Do we have any messages from board members this evening? Seeing none. Next is petitions and remonstrances. If we have anyone who would like to make a public comment about something that is not on the agenda this evening, now is the opportunity to do so. If you are on Zoom, you can use the raised hand function or the chat function. If you're in person, you can approach the podium. So this is public comment for items not on the agenda.
I see none on Zoom.
Okay. Seeing none. Next up is the consent agenda. Under the consent agenda is the approval of minutes for March 14th of 2023. Renewal number one to agreement with Groomer Construction for sidewalk repair and replacement services. Renewal number 1 to agreement with Groomer Construction for sidewalk assistance 50/50 repair replacement program. Resolution 2023-17, Declaration of Surplus, Fleet Division. Resolution 2023-18, Grand Falloon Main Stage Concert and Bloomington Handmade Market. And approval of payroll. Do we have any items that need to be removed from the consent agenda this evening? Seeing none. Are there any public comments on anything within the consent agenda this evening?
None on Zoom.
Seeing none, is there a motion on the consent agenda?
I move that we approve the consent agenda for tonight's meeting of March 28th, 2023.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. I will do a roll call vote. Crone?
Aye.
Lloyd?
Aye.
And Cox-Deckard, aye. Motion passes. Next up is new business. Under new business, we have change order number 2 for the Jackson Creek Phase 2 project.
Good evening, Roy Aiken with the City of Bloomington Engineering Department. This project constructed a multi-use path along Sarah Road multi-use path of Roar Road, westward along Roar Road across Jackson Creek, and then northward along the creek to the south end of the existing Jackson Creek Trail in Sherwood Oaks Park. Additionally, an extension of the path along the east side of High Street from the roundabout at Rogers Road to Arden Drive, then east along Arden Drive to the existing path in the southeast park. The project was awarded milestone contractors on February 10th, 2021 in the amount of $2,429,280. To date, there has been one change order approved for the extension of time. And this change order before us this evening is change order number 2, which is needed for some additional storm sewer repair, as well improvements along the driveway and path on the southern section of the trail. The change order will add $39,221 to the final contract amount of $2,468,501.
Questions on this item? Any public comment on this item?
None on Zoom.
All right, seeing none. Is there a motion?
I move that we approve change order number 2 for the Jackson Creek Phase 2 project.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. I will conduct a roll call vote. Carone?
Aye.
Lloyd?
Aye.
Cox-Deckard, aye. Motion passes. Next up is change order number 3 for the 17th Street Multi-Use Path East project.
Again, Roy Aiken with City of Bloomington Engineering Department. This project installed a multi-use path on the north side of 17th Street from Walnut Street to Grant Street. The project was awarded milestone contractors on April 4th, 2022 in the amount of $1,192,901.58. To date, there have been 2 change orders approved for a revised contract amount of $1,220,408.86. Change order number 3 will be the final balancing change order for the project and will result in a deduction of the contract amount by $24,111.76 for a final contract amount of $1,196,297.10.
Thank you. Questions on this item? Any public comment on this item?
No comment on Zoom.
Seeing none, is there a motion?
I move that we approve change order number 3 for the 17th Street Multi-Use Path East project.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. I will call the roll. Corone?
Aye.
Lloyd?
Aye.
Cox Deckard, aye. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thanks. Next up is a request from Scannell Properties for right-of-way use extension on 2851 East Longview Drive.
Jason Kerr with Engineering. Scannell Properties is building a mixed-use project at 2851 East Longview Drive. They currently have, excuse me, permit from November of 21, ending on May 1st of 23. They're wanting to extend the sidewalk closures through August 11th of 2023. They are in place now, and I have not heard of any issues that we've had with what they have in place concurrently.
Thank you. Questions from the board on this item?
No.
Any public comment on this item? All right, seeing none. Is there a motion?
I move that we approve the request from Scannell Properties for the right-of-way use extension on 2851 East Longview Drive.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. I will call the roll. Corone?
Aye.
Lloyd?
Aye.
Cox Deckard, aye. Motion passes. Next up is request from AEG for lane and sidewalk closures.
Jason Kerr, Engineering again. This is AEG requesting closures of sidewalk and lane closures as well as a continuation of the citywide fiber project. 3 areas this evening, one pertaining North Hay Street area, one with Benson Court area, and one with Hickory Stick Drive area. Those 3 are coming for you tonight for passing.
Questions on this item? Any public comment on this item? Okay. Seeing none, is there a motion?
I move that we approve the request from AEG for lane and sidewalk closures.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. I will call the roll. Corone?
Aye.
Lloyd?
Aye.
Cox Deckard, aye. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thanks. Next up is contract with Strausser Construction for construction of a bathroom in the parking office suite.
J.D. Wharf, Public Works. To meet ADA requirements and obtain a permanent occupancy permit at the Parking Operations Office, it was required that we add an additional ADA-compliant bathroom. Permission to start the construction under emergency purchase was obtained from the Controller's Office. The contract is for $29,953, and staff recommends awarding the contract to Strausser Construction. Be glad to answer any questions.
Thank you. Questions on this item?
No.
Okay. Any public comment on this item? All right. Seeing none, is there a motion?
I move that we approve the contract with Strausser Construction for construction of a bathroom in the parking office suite.
Second.
All right. We have a motion and a second. I will call the roll. Corone?
Aye.
Lloyd?
Aye.
Cox Deckard, aye. Motion passes. Next up is change order number 2 to contract with Ancris LLC for upgrades and repairs to Fire Station number 4.
Yes, this second resolution is for a change order to the contract for the upgrades and repairs at Station 4. There was an omission in the initial specifications. There was a provision to tear out the old flooring, but not a provision to put in new flooring where it was torn out. So to correct that, that cost would be $10,349. And the second was for an unsafe gas line that ran outside to the grill. It was discovered that that line was improperly installed and unsafe the way it was installed, so it would be $3,600 to repair that, which would increase the project cost by $13,948.96.
Thank you. Questions from the board on this item?
Not a question, but just a note that I will recuse myself from this item.
Any public comment on this item? Do we have an item, something in the chat? Maybe it's been there for a while. Nothing on the chat. All right. Seeing no comments, do we have a motion on this item?
Yes, I move that we approve change order number 2 to contract with Ann Chris LLC for upgrades and repairs to Fire Station number 4.
And I second. We have a motion and a second. I will call the roll. Lloyd?
Aye.
Cox Deckard, aye. And Corone
Abstain.
abstains. Motion passes.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Thanks, you too. Next up is staff reports and other business.
Good evening, Adam Wason again, Public Works Director. A couple staff reports. I wasn't at the last meeting, but I did want to introduce Chelsea Gregory. She's our new customer service rep that will be at the front desk of City Hall in the atrium there, so welcome to Chelsea. Wanted to just talk about a couple things. We're about to enter into, the spring and summer construction season. Street Department will begin, they've begun to do the ADA ramp upgrades in advance of the paving list that they'll be looking to complete this year. Some major paving projects will include Tap Road from the Adams Hill roundabout all the way to the Beeline Bridge. And then we also have a grant project partnership with NDOT to do paving from Walnut to Allendale on Tap. So a nice big stretch of Tap Tap, Winslow, the name, the road with 5 names. So, but basically between the roundabout all the way over to Allendale, one small section we're going to have to pick up next year as part of the grant program, but that's much needed. So that'll be a big project folks will see. We'll start that in the summer after MCCSC finishes up. We'll do more neighborhood projects in the meantime. And then I just wanted to briefly address the situation with we had a well-publicized case and lots of media coverage on a case with Animal Care and Control here in the last couple weeks. We had an illegal breeding operation taking place, and just want to give a big shout out, a big thank you, and to the Animal Care and Control Division as a whole, the animal control officers in particular, Monroe County Sheriff's Department and their animal management team, the Bloomington Police Department, amongst many others. I was away when I found out about this, and I've said this multiple times since, and I'll share it with you folks, is that when it came to my attention what was going on, my very first thought was, well, at least we have the right team in place to handle this. It was a really unprecedented situation, something we'd not seen in that size and scope within city limits before. The owner of the animals did release those to our custody and gave up all rights to those animals. So we've been working very diligently with rescue organizations, Humane Association. Want to give a big shout out to them, both over in Monroe County and Brown County. They were hugely helpful. The Carolina Rescue Association, Carolina Dogs Rescue Association, I think that's correct. They've been super helpful, but when I say that, I knew we had the right team in place. I really felt like, I knew we have dedicated employees down there that are going to do the right thing in the best interest of all those animals, and that's exactly what happened. So. Just a big shout out to the whole team down there. They did great work. They were, immediate triage, make sure to take the steps to make sure that the animals that needed the most care got it right away. And so, yeah, just a big thanks to all the team down there. And that's all I have to report tonight.
Are they still looking for foster families at this point? Or
We're always looking for foster families to at least go through the trainings and understand, what it takes to be a foster. So yes, we're always looking for more fosters, more volunteers, things like that. And, I'll just, another big thank you. Duke Energy stepped up with a matching grant right away, and that was exceeded, within a few days, I believe. So the community's really stepped up in a big way, too.
Very good to hear. All right. All right, next up is the approval of claims. Are there any questions on claims? Any public comment on claims?
No comment on Zoom.
All right, is there a motion?
I move that we approve claims this evening in the amount of $304,342.53.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. I'll call the roll. Corone?
Aye.
Lloyd?
Aye.
Cox Deckard? Aye. Motion passes. If we have nothing else, then I will call for adjournment.